Planners, art journals, art projects, organized planner sheet.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Organized Planner Chic. I'm Lucinda, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so and select the bell for notifications. Well, first, I want to thank all my Patreon members who help make it possible to create videos like this. Well, thank you guys so much. And if you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, just go to patreon.com/organizedplannerchic. Okay, you guys, what I am using right now to sort of break this blank page are these butterfly markers that I got. They're by Jane Davenport, and I got them probably 5 or 6 years ago. It was back when Jane Davenport products started being available through Michael's, and they're beautiful, beautiful pens. They're basically like a water brush, but with ink in them, and the colors are gorgeous. They're 12 different colors, and they have such good pigment. The hues are amazing, and to just get more out, you squeeze it just like you would a water brush to get more of the ink, more liquid out. And the only thing about them, again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this product. I love these, but they take forever to dry, just like Tombow dual brush pens, which you know is one of my favorite products in the whole wide world. They take forever to dry on mixed media and watercolor paper, which this is mixed media paper. So, but they're so pretty, and you have to be careful. Also, just like with Tombow dual brush pens, not to lean your hand down. You know, you get comfortable while you're working, you kind of put your hand down on the paper, because then you get ink on it, and sometimes you don't realize you have ink on it, and then you set your hand down on another area and you get that pigment on that area, which, you know, you don't want that to happen. So you have to just pay attention and realize that they are very highly pigmented, but they are so beautiful. And I used them a lot a couple of years ago during Inktober, and I only got a few projects done on Inktober that year. If you're unfamiliar with Inktober, it's a challenge to do something, create something in ink either every day or once a week, things like that, for the month of October. And it's just challenging you to create often and use ink, and you can actually, you know, sketch and pencil first if you want. I didn't, but I really enjoyed it and put a lot into a few projects that first year that I did it a couple of years ago. And last year I did more projects, and I kind of worked on one project a week. Like I used 6 or 7 of the different prompts, which were daily prompts, and combined them into one project for the week. And so I got a little further. I did do more, definitely more than I did the previous year, but it is such a challenge. And it's just, the challenge is having the time to fit in a drawing that you wouldn't normally do, that doesn't fit with your business or your, you know, your creativity that you're kind of into at that particular time point in the year, and do something that you wouldn't normally do. You know, and fit in your schedule, because it is fun to do work on other things, but there are very specific things. You can create your own prompts as well, which I might do in the future, but yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do it this year. But this was one of the products that I used the first year that I did Inktober. And so there I am trying to dry it, which I do. When I do it with watercolor and use my hair dryer, it dries really fast. But when I use Tombow's or this, it still takes a while, but it's definitely faster. So what I did here is I took some pictures with my phone of the plants that are in my herb garden on my patio, and I have several different sets, but I'm just going to do the ones in this spread today for the mint that I have on my patio, which is so awesome because I did not start this mint project with seeds. I started with just a little clipping, one single little clipping from some mint that I bought at the grocery store. And you know, it is one of those herbs that grows wild and grows very easily, so it has multiplied. It was just that little piece, and now I have 2 good size containers of mint. But I'm learning about mint, and I was studying about this little kind of whitish dusty coloring that gets on them. And I read 3 different articles with 3 different opinions of what that is. And some say it's just fine, just kind of dust it off. Others say it's like this little bug, which is what I think it is, because I see this kind of little bug flying around. And I forgot what the other thing was. So I'm going to dig a little deeper, because some of them are starting to not have bitter leaves, and I think that's because of it. And then also some of them have been eaten by this giant light green worm that I found the other day on one. So I'm having to try to figure out how to protect my mint. And so this, you guys, is just a fabric pot holder, and it's got beautiful flowers that are perfect to use in my garden. And I'm just going to cut out one layer of it. I think the other side is just pink anyway. I'm going to cut out one layer of it, and I'm going to leave the stitching at the top and use that to staple. And I keep cutting because I'm trying to get a pretty straight line without having to use my ruler and do all that. And so now you'll see I'm just going to cut that bottom section. I was looking to see where the layers are, and I'm going to cut off this bottom section completely, and then I'm going to flip it over so that I can cut the rest, but still leave that stitched border. And then I will staple that border, and it'll be like a flip page. And I'm so excited about that. I just think it's so fun. And I love my little pink stapler, which will appear on here in just a moment, to staple that down. And the title, you know, about this video was using color. So I just have splashes of color with those markers or those pens to be the background, and I wasn't concerned about them matching or pairing certain colors together. I just wanted it to be a nice colorful black backsplash of color or splash of color, and that way, and I'm kind of leaning more toward that when I journal nowadays anyway, that way you can just be fun, nothing has to match. It's just fun, because once you have a bunch of different colors, you know, any color can be added onto there. So this is a traveler's notebook that I'm using. I did in a previous video to hold some of my ephemera, and I made some pockets in there, and I used some credit card holders from a previous traveler's notebook. And so just check out that video. It was super fun, and it helps me to hold all types of little scraps and otherwise junk to journal with. And so now I pulled out a bunch of different pieces out of that traveler's notebook, ephemera traveler's notebook, if you will, and I'm just laying the different pieces around to kind of see where I think I want things to go. And I try to do that for the most part so that I'm not figuring out afterwards, oh, that's not exactly where I wanted it to be, or I wish I had placed that over here. So this way I kind of know what I want to do. I've got it all laid down there, and I'm also taking into consideration that I want to have space to journal in and write the things that I'm learning about mint in there. So I'll go back later and write in, or I'll use some dotted paper or some lined paper or some stationery with lines to go in and write some stuff, but also on the lighter hues of color that I put in there with the pens, with the ink, I'll write around those too. The really darker ones, of course, it won't show up, but the lighter ones with the dark pen, I'll be able to write some notes in there as well. And so yeah, this little piece I just put on there was just a little paper scrap. And then this with the, you can't see it now. I'll tell you about it when you can see it. But this little flower I just cut out of a file folder, and it's got another piece there that I'll glue in a moment that came out of a decorative file folder. And then this one is with the cherry blossoms, came from a card. It was actually a papyrus, yeah, papyrus or papyrus, I can't remember the name of that greeting card brand, where the cards are all like $6, $7 at least, but they're gorgeous cards. So I just cut these out of a card, and I think it's gorgeous. Who doesn't love cherry blossoms? And there's another little flower that came out of that same file folder, and I think they all just blend in with all the color. I mean, how can you not? There's a lot of color, but you can still really see the mint there. And I'm going to do a little wording later that says this is about mint. And then this came out of a magazine, the vegetable there. Just taking out some of my floral looking washi tape, but that little piece right there came from a magazine that my husband and I get from the Desert Botanical Gardens. I've used lots of clippings from that magazine that we get. I don't know, I think it's every month, but I've used lots because they have such good photography and the texture of the paper is nice. So you can also cut things out of the junk, or I'll call it junk mail, but the mail that comes out like on Wednesdays, I think, from the grocery stores. It has nice photography too, but some of them have really poor quality paper. It looks really rough, but some of them have good quality paper, so you can cut things out of there as well. But since this was about gardening and this is showing it in its habitat of growing in a garden, then that works really well for this spread, I think, or for this junk journal as a whole. And then I just like to do multiple layers, like multiple extra layers, I guess you would call it, of washi tape whenever I tape something in to make sure it lasts. And then this one so that one was a flip up or down, whichever way you want to see it, and this one's going to be a flip out. And so I'm just going to tape that, but also on this one I have to make sure that I don't tape over this pocket. There's a paper pocket on the other side, and so it's going to be a little bit more challenging to get it all taped down and make sure I don't also tape down the pocket here on the other side. So see, that's just a paper pocket, also came out of that same magazine, and it's about butterflies. So I'm pretty sure that the spread on the opposite side, or this side here where we'll see the butterflies, that's going to have lots of butterflies on it whenever I get ready to do that spread. So yeah, I'm just putting this washi tape and making sure that I don't tape down this little paper pocket on the other side. And yeah, there we go. And that little piece of paper was a little bit too tall for the flap at the top, so I just ripped a little bit off of it, and now I'm going to do some more tape just to make sure it lasts, gosh, that's a hard word to say sometimes, and stays secure. Yeah, and so underneath that flap and those different flip-ins and flip-outs, I'll be able to journal. And now I'm just going to take some scrap sticker paper from whenever I cut out my pictures that I had printed, and I'm going to write that these spreads are all about mint. And I never use those Sharpies, and so I was trying to use some stuff that I don't use all the time, like I said, using my butterfly markers, and now I'm using a Sharpie marker. I'm trying to be more cognizant of some of the products that I have that I don't use as often. So yeah, so then I'm just gonna put those down, lay those down kind of in a whimsical way, and I think it'll work. And you guys, while I'm doing that, I just want to ask you to please continue to keep me in your prayers. I'm going to be getting the test for Sjogren's syndrome on Friday and have not been feeling well. So hopefully I can get some answers. All right, you guys. Well, here it is. It's all done. I'm just going to flip through what the junk journal looks like so far with the previous pages that I've done. And thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Up there at the writing, you see I put down the planting season information. So if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, like and comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. Doing all those things really helps my channel a lot. Also, you can check out all of my pictures of my creative ventures and adventures at Organized Planner Chic on Instagram, and that spread I just flipped from. I haven't fully decorated yet. Also, I have 2 Facebook groups. The local one is called Phoenix Planner Friends for Christ, and we normally meet in person once a month and have lots of planner fun, but because of COVID-19, we're doing lives every Saturday. So check us out there. And then for anyone around the world, that Facebook group is called Organized Planner Chic Crew, and there we try to stay in touch just about every day with lives and videos and posts, and we do giveaways. And if you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, just go to patreon.com/organizedplannerchic. Until next time, happy planning!